Thank you for joining us for Turn the Page with Paige, brought to you by Southwestern Illinois College. I'm your host, Paige Hulsey. The holiday season is here, and while Christmas is meant to be a time of celebration, that can look different for every family. In the children's book, Every Other Christmas, a child spends every other Christmas celebrating the differing traditions between the African-American and Colombian sides of his family. Author Katie Otey joins us from O'Fallon, Illinois. Is that right?
That's correct.
So glad to have you in studio today.
Thank you.
Tell me where you got the idea for this book, Every Other Christmas.
I got the idea from the fact that I am a divorcee and my children have to alternate holidays between me and their father, and I wanted to show the positivity from that type of situation. So,
tell me more about what happens inside the story itself.
Yes, there's a child who alternates the holidays between his African-American mother, Colombian father. So every other year you see him celebrating the traditions with each side of his family. And no matter where he is, no matter where he goes, no matter the culture, he is accepted, he is loved, he's a part of that.
You mentioned that the inspiration was from your own experience and your children's own experience. How did they react when you created this book?
They were pretty excited, just to see me have my book out and to see that something positive could come from a situation that can be difficult to manage.
Let's talk more about the illustrations, because I know that you were very intentional about the representation and the scenes. What were some of those conversations with the illustrator?
Yes, so the illustrator actually took photos and things like that from my family. She actually knew my family. So a lot of the characters in the story are designed and fashioned and illustrated after my parents, my sister, her husband, my children, even the decor, the dog. So my family had a great time when they got to see the book and see how beautiful it was and see themselves represented.
So you mentioned that the illustrator knows your family well, and I love that that's another local connection. The illustrator is also local.
Yes, well, her name is S.J. Winkler. I met her here at a writers group that we had. So she's a writer, she's an illustrator. She has since moved to the West Coast, but she was here for several years and we've worked on several projects together.
When children, especially children who are from divorced families, read your book, what do you want them to walk away thinking or feeling?
That they don't have to choose, that they can feel accepted and loved and a part of their family, no matter where they are, no matter who they're celebrating with. I did make the child in the story biracial because I see a lot of the angst of that with biracial children as well, and I wanted to honor that to give them that sense of I can belong with both sides of my family. So.
Well, Every Other Christmas was your first book, a picture book, but most recently you've published this book, and it is called Izzy's Almost Epic Day. Tell me more about this chapter book.
Oh, I love this book. All of the characters, all of the children in Izzy's family are designed after my 5 children. So it was a very fun book to write. And it's a story about a kid who thinks he's gonna have the best day ever. And every chapter is an hour of his day, and hour by hour things just keep going wrong. It's hilarious, but it also shows that you can persevere when you're not having the best of days. So I wanted children to have a great time reading this book, and I also wanted them to learn something without it being too heavy-handed.
Sure. So it sounds like almost a fun approach to growth mindset and social emotional learning. It's okay to have a bad day.
Exactly. And it's okay for children to learn these lessons without it being so heavy-handed. So I love comedy as a medium. And I love this book.
When I asked you about this book, you just exuded joy when you said, I love this book. Is it your favorite?
It is, because it reminds me of my children. It reminds me of our home. It reminds me of the chaos of not being the perfect mother and not having the perfect scenarios going on in the household, and just being able to laugh about it and be like, we did our best here today. And so, yeah.
That's a great perspective and a great reminder that just do your best.
That's it. That's all you can do.
Give to give.
That's right.
Yeah. why do you enjoy the writing process? And seeing that it makes you so happy, can we expect more books from you?
Oh, I've written a lot of books, but publishing is slow,
Sure.
so they're on the shelf and ready to come out. You're gonna see from me, you're gonna see a lot of comedy. I love comedy writing, and I'm hoping that it could be more of the norm for African American or Black stories to have more lighter themes. Themes that shows our humanity and our spark and our fun and our joy, and not just the other side of our story. So I'm a big advocate for that.
I really look forward to seeing more work from you.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, though, today, I do want to ask about a recommendation for another children's book.
Yes, yes. I have a few recommendations, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the first one is Sister. This is a foster care and adoption story, and told from the point of view of the couple's young child. So I really love this book. I think it's amazing. And
Is this the same illustrator?
it is.
Okay,
S.J.
from your own
Winkler
book.
partnered with me on this. I actually published this through my publishing company, and it's won some pretty big awards, so we're excited about it.
Yeah, so this really talks about the struggle and opportunity that comes with being a foster family. Is that right?
That's right. Leah M. Johnson, who wrote this book, is a foster mother. She had 2 biological children and then fostered 2 children, and the story was incredible. She actually wrote an adult book as well, but for children, this really shows how hard it can be when children that are fostered are reunified with their original families. Which is supposed to be in the best interest of the child, of course, but it's still a hard thing to overcome for children who may be in the fostering home.
Yeah, 2 things can be true at once.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So.
And then you brought a second book, another great recommendation as well.
I did. Stella's Stellar Hair. I love this book so much. This is a story about a girl who doesn't know how she wants her hair done. So she travels to different planets where her aunties live, and they do her hair in different Black styles. It is so fun. It's a twist on the normal I Love My Hair books. It has STEM. It has bright, bold colors. It is just an amazing story. I love it.
Yeah, this really does seem like an original take on a familiar story about embracing one's hair.
Exactly, exactly. But it's so authentically done. It's just like a celebration of all of the unique ways that we fashion our hair, and it's obviously something that if a little girl had this who maybe didn't like her afro or didn't like her curls, she can see how beautiful the fact that the versatility is there for her to wear her hair any kind of way she wants to do it. So
great recommendations and great work of your own as well.
Thank you.
So glad to meet you, Katie.
Thank you.
Thanks
I'm
for
glad to
joining
meet you
us today.
too.
I want to thank you at home for joining us today as well. We hope you'll be back here soon for another episode of Turn the Page with Paige.